Trump urges House Republicans to vote to release the Epstein files. The FAA has lifted shutdown limits. And UNT football achieves AP rank for the first time since 1959.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is NTTV News at Noon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining NTTV News at Noon. I'm Annie Tomlin.
And I'm Cameron Shields.
Over the weekend, the Mean Green football team had another successful game, winning against the University of Alabama at Birmingham with a score of 53-24.
And Annie, it was an amazing game, but what's even more amazing is that UNT finally ended their AP ranking dry spell.
More with this is our sports reporter, Houston Hall.
Houston, what you got for us?
Well, this is obviously a historic accomplishment because this is the first time North Texas has been in the AP poll since November 9th, 1959. That's 1,032 polls that the Mean Green have been absent from until now. This is obviously very exciting and should get the attention of UNT fans, but now we just have to wait for the college football playoff poll to come out on Tuesday night. The Mean Green's hopes that the playoffs are still very much alive, sitting at around a 35% chance, but that CFP poll is what will determine exactly how real those hopes are. In order to make the playoffs, UNT will have to win the American Conference, of course, which brings up more good news. Since South Florida lost over the weekend, UNT will have the opportunity to host the conference championship if they win these next two games.
That's very exciting, Houston. I'm excited. Are you excited, Annie?
I'm very excited. I love football.
Lots of good things going for UNT. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged lawmakers in his own party to vote to release the files relating to the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. This after emails were released mentioning Trump, among others, by name in Jeffrey Epstein's birthday book. Trump wrote on Sunday night that Republicans in the House of Representatives should do so because, quote, we have nothing to hide, end quote. Potentially dozens of Republicans have now signaled that they are willing to break ranks and vote in favor of a bill that would compel the U.S. government to publish all its documents on Epstein.
The flight restrictions that affected over 40 major airports in the United States are now being lifted. The restrictions were put into place following the government shutdown, and the Federal Aviation Association and Transportation Authorities of the affected cities made a joint statement about the cause, saying, quote, safety trends and the steady decline of staffing trigger events in air traffic control facilities. Per TSA's data, Thanksgiving weekend is the busiest time of year for air travel, and although these limits give flyers a break, pay attention for any cancellations or any delays.
The Texas National Guards are reported to come back to Texas soon from Chicago. The troops were first deployed in early October when Governor Greg Abbott authorized the federal government's mobilization of 400 troops from Texas to quote, safeguard U.S. immigration and customs enforcement officers. According to the U.S. Northern Command, around 200 Texas Guard members were in the Chicago area. State and local governments in Illinois objected to the out-of-state soldiers' presence, and a federal court quickly ruled that they couldn't be activated, but didn't have to withdraw from the state. The legal fight between Illinois and the federal government over the issue reached the U.S. Supreme Court, where the case remains pending.
Bangladesh's ousted leader, Sheikh Hasina, was sentenced to death today, along one side of her top aides being found guilty of crimes against humanity for the violent suppression of student protests last year that led to the collapse of her government. What started as a peaceful student demonstration over civil service job quotas transformed into a nationwide push for the Prime Minister's resignation. This later resulted in a crackdown that killed up to 1,400 people and injured up to 25,000 people, according to the UN's Human Rights Office. A panel of 3 judges from the International Crimes Tribunal, Bangladesh's Domestic War Crimes Court, delivered their verdict, ruling that Hasina was responsible for inciting hundreds of extrajudicial killings carried out by law enforcement.
Annie, today feels so nice and cozy. I almost slept in.
I did sleep in, Cameron.
Wow. Well,
at least we're getting to the nice fall weather. You know?
That's very true. That's right. And let's check in with our weather anchor, Sherella Roscoe, to see what the weather looks like today and tomorrow.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, everybody here in Denton. As you can tell, it's 81 degrees outside, but the wind is a bit cold, but it's still very extremely hot. in November here in North Texas. For the conditions for tonight, it is going to start feeling a bit more colder, so just keep in mind what you're going to wear, what activities you want to try for tonight's conditions, which it is going to be at 68, and the wind is still going to be there, guys. So just keep in mind, like it's obviously fall, and it feels like summer sometimes, but the wind is really strong. For tomorrow's conditions, it's still going to be extremely hot, so just keep in mind what you're going to wear. I know it's November. I know we're supposed to be feeling the fall spirit, but it's Texas. You can never expect from here. Thank you so much. Back to desk.
Thanks so much, Sherelle. Tensions are rising between the U.S. and Venezuela as President Donald Trump moves to classify a Venezuelan cartel, allegedly linked to Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, as a terrorist organization and continues to weigh the possibility of military action within the country, not only in the waters. CNN's Stefano Caracas has the details.
The streets of Caracas were calm on Sunday night, and the whole Sunday felt a much quieter day, for example, than the day before, than Saturday, when we saw several government officials participating in ceremonies all across the nation, with regular Venezuelans, civilians, being asked to take an oath and to swear that they will defend the country in the case of a U.S. attack. We're yet to hear from the presidential palace, from Nicolas Maduro himself, a reaction to the recent remarks by President Trump late on Sunday night, saying that he would be open to discussing with Maduro himself, and that Trump said Maduro has reached out. That is not to be surprising. Maduro has tried for weeks and months to speak directly to the American people and to reach the White House directly. At this moment, CNN cannot independently verify whether there has been or there have been conversations between Miraflores, the presidential palace here in Caracas, and the members of Donald Trump's team up in Washington, but we'll keep you posted on that. Also on Sunday night, at the same time, the U.S. Department of State has announced their intention to designate the Cartel de los Soles as a foreign terrorist organization. Now, Cartel de los Soles is a collective number used to designate members of the Venezuelan high government and government officials involved in drug trafficking, with Nicolas Maduro at its head. He's at the center point of the strategy of prosecuting Maduro for drug trafficking, and that is to be seen as a sign of further escalation coming down from the State Department, while instead Donald Trump seemed to suggest that he will be open to a more diplomatic solution. For CNN, this is Stefano Pozzebon, Caracas.
While many Americans have concerns over the recent attacks on Venezuelan ships, the Venezuelan community reacts to the military campaign threatening their home country.
It's time for him to go. I don't care if he goes to prison, they do something to him, or he just goes away to anywhere else. But it's time for him and his government to go.
While we wait for details on a possible negotiation, it seems Venezuelans are in support of the movement against Venezuela, or at least against Maduro.
The decommissioned P.H. Robinson power plant that was extinguished after catching fire around 2:30 a.m. on Sunday. The fire broke out despite the site being completely shut down. Most of the structures present likely fell due to a large percentage of them being made with wood. The fire has been declared 100% extinguished and no one was injured.
Coming up, more updates on food scarcity.
And questions on someone or something who may be listening to us. Don't go away.
I use Flex to buy my favorite snacks.
I use Flex to get me through my mornings.
I use Flex at my favorite campus restaurants. I love how Flex is a cashless payment method and can be used at all campus dining venues.
So, how do you use Flex?
SMU law professor Charles Hosch has been missing since November 11th while visiting his brother in Georgia. His last credible sighting was descending from Blood Mountain, a trail he knew well, a lead that helps teams predict the routes that he may have taken. As the search continues, the community is coming together around Hosh's family. Hosh's daughter expressed her gratitude for the community both in Georgia and in Dallas and urges those who knew him to share videos, pictures, and stories about her father as she feels it will help bring him home.
The Texas Department of Public Safety is searching for the driver of an unlicensed white 18-wheeler that took the life of a North Texas father in a hit and run. Aldir Quiroz has hit and rolled over when the trailer was made an unsafe lane change and forced his car onto the concrete barrier. Investigators say the truck may have damage to the right side front bumper, and North Texas Crime Stoppers is offering up to $5,000 for information leading to an arrest. Tips can be sent through the Crime Stoppers website using the case number TX 2025-1816356 or calling the number on screen 877-373-8477.
According to Zillow, nearly 87% of Dallas-Fort Worth homes lost value this year. With that, 53% of U.S. homes lost their value over the last year, and an increasing number of homes are selling for less than their previous sale price. Overall, the estimated value of a Dallas home is down 11% from its peak, the study found. The biggest dip since 2013, when values were down 13.6%. However, most homes hit their peak value in the last few years, meaning most homeowners still have seen an overall increase in the value from which they purchased their home to now. Cameron, you know, I'm going back to California for Thanksgiving break, and I really hope that this weather will follow me there.
Yeah, I really hope not. I will keep this weather. Thank you very much.
Well, let's check back in with our weather anchor, Sherelle Orozco, to see what good weather you'll want to keep later this week. Sherelle?
Thank you and welcome back. As you can tell, the weather has been really crazy here in Texas compared to last week when it was around 50s, 70s, but it's been around 80s around North Texas. But across Texas, it's really interesting since the weather has been going a bit crazy lately. And we're supposed to have the fall season, guys, but it's still summer for everybody here around Texas. But here in Denton, we are going to get a bit of interesting weather throughout the whole week here in Denton. Yes, as you can tell, we're going to have 2 amazing days, but when we move forward, it's going to start honestly raining. We're going to get colder weather next Monday. So just keep in mind what events you're going to be holding this week or what events you have with your families. And that's all for me. Back to desk. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Sherelle. The fate of SNAP in the near future is still up in the air.
And our live shot anchor, Matu Longo, is on the scene to give us more details. Matu?
I'm right here standing in front of UNT's food pantry. And on this campus, resources accessibility is for Mondays and Saturday. They have a variety of fresh and dry food. And you have to be first come, first served. Our reporter is Kate Mercy, has more information in our resources on Denton about food, regarding to food and resources accessibility.
Shutdown drags on. Many Americans are at risk of food insecurity. Many low-income families rely on SNAP benefits in order to purchase food. And now those benefits are being taken away.
We see people in far more stress than we've ever seen before. And they can't even pinpoint what it is. But SNAP shutting down may be the straw that breaks the camel's back, to say, and that's what's going to put them over the edge.
Across North Texas, food pantries are also feeling the strain. As you walk down the aisles, you may encounter empty crates and meat lockers with no meat. Without SNAP benefits, the need for assistance has risen and pantries are struggling to keep up with the demand. However, here in Denton, one local organization is stepping up to help. This past Sunday, the Denton Left organization hosted a free store which allowed anyone to come and take what they needed, no questions asked.
It's not solving the problem, but it's just doing what we can, really, in my opinion. However, now that more drastic measures have been taken by a current administration, people are going to need this now more than ever. If they didn't need it before, they'll probably need it now. And if they definitely needed it before, they'll definitely need it now.
The free store offers everything from canned goods, warm clothes, toys, and other necessities, all donated from community members. This is not the first free store that the organization has hosted, but they say that since the shutdown, their numbers has vastly increased in attendance and donations.
There's definitely a lot more people, and there were a lot more people paying attention to the social media posts that was dropped last week of, oh my God, you guys are having a free store. Oh my God, this is so much need. There's a crazy amount of donations at that table right now. And that's just clothing, you know.
As SNAP benefits remain on hold, these nonprofit organizations could be a lifeline for many North Texas families. Denton Leff says they plan to host more free stores as long as the community needs it. With NTTV News, I'm Katie Muncie.
Thanks, Matu. Next up, more on the price tag on your Thanksgiving dinner.
And someone who started their life being green. Stay tuned.
Know about politics is important for everyone on and off campus.
That's right, and our segment anchor Isabella Ovalle is here with more on what you can do to stay politically involved. Isabella?
Thank you so much, Cameron. With the election having passed, many students are looking for many other ways of getting politically involved on and off campus. Here's how the leaders of the SJP believe students can make an impact in their local communities and beyond. Through campaigning, peaceful protests, educating, keeping local politicians accountable, and fostering community. Many of the SJP's many aims and feats, they've aided a Denton local Palestinian worker in affording legal fees for a wrongful termination suit. Additionally, they have called upon UNT to divest from weapons manufacturing and funding the war in Gaza, but their hard work doesn't come without risks. The war might be thousands of miles away, but the effects of it can still be seen and combated locally. For more information on how you can get involved today, check out the Students for Justice of Palestine on Instagram at sjp.unt and join their WhatsApp group chat linked in their bio. That's all from me. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Isabella. Thanksgiving is just around the corner, and with the reopening of the government, tariffs are still on the horizon. Due to this, many traditional Thanksgiving ingredients may cost you a lot more than they did last year. CNN's Jen Sullivan has the story.
Outside the King Center in Atlanta, long lines of cars as people wait for free food to be handed out at this Thanksgiving food drive.
This is going to make a tremendous difference.
Miss Williams works part-time, but she says it's not enough to put food on her table. And it's not just Thanksgiving she worries about.
It's every day. It's tonight. I need dinner for tonight.
Her story is like so many others as the cost of food continues to rise.
We've seen an increased need. We've seen seniors coming that need assistance. We've seen families.
The government shutdown put a strain on already busy food banks, with millions of food stamp recipients not receiving assistance through the federally funded Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program known as SNAP, and hundreds of thousands of federal workers not getting paid. But rising food costs are making groceries more expensive for everyone.
But for many families, they're still struggling to put food on their table and keep that roof over their heads.
Average grocery prices are up nearly 3% from last September, according to the latest Consumer Price Index report. Prices for key Thanksgiving staples like potatoes, meats, fresh vegetables, and bakery products are all up. And tariffs have caused the price of many imported items like wine to jump. One wine store says prices are 5 to 12% higher this year. There is some good news. On Friday, President Donald Trump signed an executive order that retroactively lowered tariffs on beef, tomatoes, coffee, and bananas, as well as other products coming from agricultural imports. I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
Staying healthy is very important for everyone from start to finish.
That's right, and our segment anchor, Michaela Dixon, is here with your health and the importance of starting parental care early. Michaela?
A quarter of pregnant women in the U.S. Thank you. A quarter of pregnant women in the U.S. don't get prenatal care in their first trimester. Beginning prenatal care early is important because it provides the best support for a pregnant mother in health. Reports indicate starting it after the first trimester is growing more and more in the U.S. About 75% of babies last year were born to mothers who started prenatal care in their first trimester. Many reasons are at fault for this. We're just hoping for higher rates for next year. Thank you guys for tuning in with me, and back to Annie and Cameron at the desk.
Thanks so much, Michaela. A month ago, UNT made history for the first time ever. DATQ Stadium was sold out for the first time. Even though UNT lost the game, one family still had quite the reason to celebrate. When UNT's alum Samuel Holsenbach first arrived to the stadium with his wife Avery, her water broke, leading them to miss the game. But the Holsenbachs said that they will be back one day, all three of them.
Wow, Cameron, all these crazy things happening on game day is really making me sad that football is already in the second half.
I know. Well, don't worry, Annie, because Mean Green game days are moving into the Super Pit. Our sports anchor, Houston Hall, has all that and more. Houston?
Thanks, guys. Coming up with sports, the Mavericks are back in the win column. The basketball season here at UNT is well underway, and the buzz around the Mean Green football team is at an all-time high. So stick around because we'll be right back after this short break.
Are you looking for a fun club with travel opportunities? Dive into the UNT Swim Club. Practicing Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays from 7 to 9 p.m. at the Pole Recreation Center. We accept members at any skill level. For more information, reach out to us at unt.swimclub on Instagram.
Finally, basketball fans in Dallas have some good news as the Mavericks snap a 3-game losing streak and get back in the win column with their win over Portland Sunday night. This game was back and forth all the way through. Dallas trailed by as many as 7 points in the fourth quarter, but they were able to send the game into overtime with a free throw from their rookie, Cooper Flagg. Overtime is where the Mavs would pull away, however. Dallas was able to stretch the lead to 5 with under 30 seconds to play, which put Portland in a position to have to foul. The Mavs were able to make free throws and get the necessary defensive stops to hold on to this one, besting the Trailblazers by a score of 138 to 133. The Mavs were propelled to this win due to 20-point outings from Cooper Flagg, P.J. Washington, and Daniel Gafford. Dallas will have to rest up quickly as they'll have to turn around and play again tonight at 7 in Minnesota against the Timberwolves. The basketball season is well underway this season, and the Mean Green's women's basketball team is showing their dominance early in the season as well.
The women's basketball team at UNT is off to a nice start this season. In addition to Coach Jason Burton winning his 50th game since being hired in 2023, the Mean Green are off to a 3-0 start this season with their win over Nelson University Thursday night. The Mean Green started this game down 12-4, but following a timeout, they turned it around in a hurry, scoring 23 unanswered points. Coach Burton said that he started to see his team play the way they will have to play throughout the rest of the season during that stretch.
Gave effort, applied pressure on the ball, was moving all over the place and making plays happen, and didn't care about, it wasn't about scoring, it was about playing harder than another team and putting ourselves in position to have success.
The Mean Green have a lot of new faces on their squad this season, which in some cases could cause some problems early in the season. However, UNT junior guard Andy Schisler emphasized the versatility of this team and the way they gelled together quickly.
With our offense, it can be anybody's night, and tonight I had 17, so I mean, everybody has their days that they score more and everybody has their days that they score less, so I mean, that just shows how like all around our team is, then everybody's gonna have their nights.
This week, UNT will take on Abilene Christian here in Denton on Wednesday morning, and then they will go to Dallas to play SMU on Saturday night. With NTTV, I'm Houston Hall.
In addition to UNT acquiring their first AP poll ranking in the last 66 years, there was a school record broken during that game Saturday against UAB as well. The Mean Green's outstanding freshman running back Caleb Hawkins now owns the record for most rushing touchdowns in a single game in school history. UNT leaned on the young star all game, handing the ball off to him 27 times, and Hawkins made the most of his carries. He ran it every which way on the Blazers' defense, tallying a grand total of 189 rushing yards by the time the clock hit 000. In addition to that, he crossed the goal line not one, not two, but 5 times to grab the school record. In addition to Hawkins' dominant performance, North Texas enjoyed a nice performance from their incomparable quarterback as well. Mr. Maker had an incredibly efficient performance, completing 18 of his 25 passes for 298 yards and 2 touchdowns of his own. The Mean Green at this point control their own destiny to finish out the season. With wins in their last 2 games against Rice and Temple, the Mean Green will host the American Conference Championship. That's all for sports today, folks. Back to Annie and Cameron at the desk.
Thanks so much, Houston, and thank you for watching NTTV News at noon.
Join us again tonight at 6 and tomorrow at noon here on North Texas Television.